New charges are added in the Providence Home Health Care Center abuse case. Indiana Youth Institute brings us a game plan for dads heading into Father's Day weekend, and sports with Kurt Guxell. Those stories and much more are up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In your news, one of 6 former employees of the Providence Home Health Care Center who was arrested in February is now facing additional charges. 41-year-old Katrina Patterson, the former director of nursing for the center, now faces Class D felony counts of obstruction of justice and neglect of a dependent, in addition to her previous charges. Patterson was initially charged with misdemeanors for failure to report victimization of an endangered adult. The investigation into the Providence Home Health Care Center by the Indiana Attorney General's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit turned up allegations that a resident of the center had been abused. According to the initial probable cause affidavits that were filed in DuBois County Circuit Court, a certified nursing assistant at the home approached Patterson, who was one of her supervisors, to report that 3 of the home's CNAs had been verbally and physically abusing one of the home's residents. Several documents contend that Patterson, along with former Assistant Director of Nursing Cheryl Rocket, did not investigate the allegations against the nurses, nor did they report them to authorities. 4 nurses were later arrested on Class D felony counts of battery and neglect, as well as misdemeanor counts of intimidation. An additional probable cause affidavit filed by the Indiana State Police on Monday stated that the Indiana Department of Health was never given an incident report about any alleged abuse at the center, which contradicted Patterson's statements to investigators. Additionally, Patterson's report alleged that other staff members denied all allegations made by the reporting CNA, which was contradicted by statements from a second CNA that was found in a file that Patterson gave to investigators. The additional affidavit said Patterson misled investigators by not initially providing the statement by the second CNA. A court hearing for July 8th was set last week after the DuBois County Prosecutor's Office filed motions to consolidate all of the related cases for trial purposes. Patterson and Rocket's cases have already been joined into one proceeding. One person suffered minor injuries in an accident between a pickup truck and a tractor trailer hauling farm equipment yesterday afternoon west of Ireland. DuBois County Sheriff's deputies say Alberto Barrios of Otwell was eastbound on State Road 56 with a truck and trailer just before 2:30 p.m. when deputies say the small trailer came unhitched from the truck and went left of center. Deputies say Thomas Lindley of Brilliant, Alabama, who was driving the semi, attempted to avoid the trailer, but could not and hit the trailer, damaging his semi's steering. Lindley's semi then went left of center and off of the south side of the road, colliding with a large embankment and blocking the highway. Lindley was transported to Memorial Hospital for treatment on a complaint of pain in his lower legs. Barrios was not injured. Lindley's semi and Barrios' trailer were both totaled in the crash. Barrios was cited for no trailer registration and violation of safety chains. State Road 56 west of Ireland was closed for several hours yesterday afternoon while the accident scene was being cleaned up. DuBois County Sheriff's deputies were assisted at the scene by Ireland First Responders, Memorial Hospital EMS, Ubelor & Sons Towing, and Storks Service. Last night, the Huntingburg City Council received a report from Energy Superintendent John Rudepoler on the gas dehydration facility explosion, which happened on Monday. Rudepoler's report stated that the facility which exploded had been having problems going back several years, with the most recent string of problems occurring over the last month. According to the report, the gas storage field was shut down on May 17th due to traces of water and sulfur in the daily gas samples, as well as the wellhead pressure being too low. On June 6th, the storage field was restarted, but the flow of gas through the system was lower. On Monday morning at 8 a.m., gas samples showed no traces of water or sulfur, and the flow rate was close to normal. At 6:30 on Monday night, a flameout in the DE-HI unit was reported by the system, and the explosion took place just minutes after. Rudipolar told the council the cause of the incident will be ruled undetermined due to an evaluation from David McVeigh of EFI Global on Wednesday that stated there was no reason to go further due to no injuries being reported, no rebuild of the structure being planned, and no other structures were damaged. Rudipolar says the site will be cleaned up going forward.
Actually, we're going to clean the site up, and we got leaseholders that will be able to draw gas out of the field at what's left in there until the end of the year. And then once that's over, we'll get a hold of a company that will actually bring some equipment in to able to draw the rest of the gas out, compress it, and ship it off. And once all that's done, we'll cap all the wells off, and we'll restore the ground to where it was before we built our station there.
Rudipolar says the value of the building and dehydration unit was evaluated at less than $50,000, and when insurance gives their clearance, it will be safe to start cleaning up the site. Also last night, the council heard an update from Mayor Denny Spinner on the railroad overpass project, which was recently announced by NDOT. Spinner told the council that he will be going before the county commissioners at their meeting this next week to get support for the project from the county. Spinner says support from the county is very important to the project and to the city of Huntingburg.
It's huge for Huntingburg to have that partner. I think it's a great thing, a great model of how projects of this scope can be done, and to have a willing partnership between Huntingburg and Du Bois County and NDOT to make this happen is really what made this all move forward.
Spinner says bid letting for the project will likely occur sometime in fiscal year 2017. The project is targeted for completion by NDOT in the fall of 2018. Yesterday afternoon, the Ferdinand Community Center hosted a new community conversation. This follows a three-part series of community conversations last fall. Those conversations focused on a different aspect of the theme, the importance of place. The topic of this community conversation was Soul of the Community, Factors that Attach Residents to Their Communities, which is in response to a study done by Dr. Catherine Laughlin for the Knight Foundation on what attaches people to their community. Dr. Laughlin, who was the featured speaker for the event, says she learned from her research that attachment to community has to do with not only the things that are always discussed, but the softer side of place that drives attachment to communities.
I think some of the biggest things that I learned from my research is that it does have to do with not only the things that we always talk about in cities, like potholes and garbage collection, but it is those softer sides about place that really seem to matter and really drive people's attachment to their place. So do we have the things to do that engages people? Are we aesthetically pleasing? Do we do a good job in creating a place that people can feel proud of? And are we welcoming? Do we do a good job of being welcoming to all different kinds of people? So, and those things seem to have an impact in creating a community that does economically better than other places.
Laughlin says the message from this event has the potential to resonate well not only with leaders in the community, but with residents as well.
Well, I think this is a message that can resonate just as well with a leader as it can with a resident. What we know for sure is that quality of life is created not only by leadership, but by the residents who create that place every single day. So I'm glad we had that morning session that was for leaders, but then this afternoon we'll have some time with the residents so they can really feel a part of making this place the best it can be.
Another community conversation is being planned for November. Yesterday, the Jasper Inn and Convention Center held a grand opening ceremony for two new restaurants. The Jasper Bar and Grill, along with the Bainbridge, held their ribbon-cutting ceremony as part of a Jasper Chamber of Commerce Time Out for Business event yesterday afternoon. The new Jasper Bar and Grill will feature dishes such as the Hoosier, which is a bacon cheddar burger, and the Patoka, which is a catfish sandwich dressed with coleslaw. There will also be 4 types of chili featured. Main menu items at the Bainbridge will include ribeye steak with mashed potatoes and a pork dish served with corn. There will also be 2 salads available, a lettuce-based salad with ham and an herb-based salad. Director of Sales and Marketing Andy Huffman says the menu is purposely being kept tight in order to keep the focus on doing well with a few dishes. Jasper native Josh Emmons will run both restaurants in his role as food and beverage manager. Emmons has studied culinary arts internationally, most notably in France. Saturday and Sunday brunch will eventually be added at the Bainbridge, and daily specials will make their way onto the menus at both restaurants. The Jasper Bar and Grill will be open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesdays through Thursdays, and from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Live music will be featured on Fridays and Saturdays. Sparrow and Crandall will perform at 10 p.m. both nights this weekend. The Bainbridge will be open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesdays through Saturdays. For more information on the new restaurants, you can call 482-5555, go online to jasperncc.com, or find them on Facebook. Finally, tonight we bring you our weekly presentation courtesy of the Indiana Youth Institute. Tonight, IYI CEO Bill Stanzakavich talks in an extended interview about a game plan for dads as we head into the Father's Day weekend.
You know, it's interesting. Dads feel that oftentimes it's kind of old school, that they're meant to bring home the paycheck and they're meant to be that final disciplinarian. But your kids need you to be emotionally involved with them as well. They need you to be present in their lives. You know, they're thrilled that you have a nice job. And of course, you do need to be involved with your kids' discipline. But your kids need most to know that you care about them unconditionally, that you are there for them, that you love them, that you appreciate for them and who they are, that you're not measuring them by their accomplishments or what hoops they jump through, but instead that you're looking at them for who they are and that you're present in their lives. What all kids need most from their parents, and in this context of Father's Day, from their dads, is awareness, is engagement, is involvement, being present in their lives, and that they know you love them unconditionally.
Absentee dads are a fact of life, but a lot of children who have dads in the home, sometimes they're absentee in the home. Can you talk to us about that?
You know, there's no doubt that a huge social development in the last 30 years has been the single-parent household, and almost always it's the dad who disappears, who's AWOL. And candidly, there's some dads we want to disappear. If they are a danger to the child and a danger to the mom, they should not be in that household. But there's also another story here, and it's the dads who are still in the household physically, but not emotionally. Dads who are there maybe in the house, but aren't involved with their kids' activities, aren't with the family at dinner time, or when they're with family activities, their faces are still in their smartphones looking for that latest email from work or that latest text message or being on a website or something like that. So it's not enough to just be physically present. You need to be emotionally present in your child's life to be fully involved and fully engaged with their activities. I'll tell you a wonderful story. I was actually at a Little League game not too long ago and saw a man walking from the parking lot along the right field side, and the boy at the plate hit a great line drive single out to right center field. And the man came down, sat at the bleachers, and the neighbor that he sat next to said, "How are you doing? How's everything at work?" So the two men were talking about work. When the inning ended, the boy who got the hit saw that it was his dad who arrived and said, "Dad, did you see my hit?" And the dad did. He said, "Yeah, I saw you take that pitch to right field. Nice job." And you could just see the look on the boy's face. So the two men wanted to talk about work. The boy wanted to make sure dad saw the hit. And that's what we need to balance in our lives. Certainly work is important, but our kids want to make sure we're present in their lives.
How do fathers make themselves more emotionally available?
You really have to give it a priority. You really have to determine what is the most important thing in the life of your child. And the most important thing for you as a dad is to be there. Your career success, the awards that you win, certainly families can be proud of the parents who are successful professionally, but what the kids are going to remember is that you're there to go over their homework with them. You're there to celebrate success on a school assignment. You're there at a ball game, win or lose, a music recital, however many piano keystrokes are hit or missed. That's what kids remember. Those are the stories that they're going to tell to their kids, and they're not going to have those stories if you're not present in their lives.
What is a father's role in a child's life? Because moms and dads play very different roles.
There's no doubt that both parents are very important in the lives of children. And, you know, for dads, there's a lot of research from the National Fatherhood Initiative that shows that they have some unique aspects on their sons and on their daughters. On their daughters, they're really teaching love and unconditional love to the girls, and also helping the girls understand what to look for as when they're adults and they're looking for that significant guy in their lives and how they should be treated by a gentleman. So it's very important that girls not go looking for love in all the wrong places, and they're less likely to do so when they have a dad active in their lives. As for the boys, you're trying to teach them discipline. You're trying to teach them responsibility. You're trying to teach them to be present in the lives of everybody around them. And the only way you can do that is to be present there in the lives of your son. It's not a coincidence that the vast majority of men who are incarcerated in jail did not have a dad in their lives. It's not a coincidence that the vast majority of males who are in street gangs do not have dads in their lives. Why? Those young men are looking for that male role model in other places when they don't have dads. You know, it's interesting. People who work in communities where there's a lot of father absence, they run sports programs and they run wrestling programs. Or we're also familiar where they run trades programs, teaching electrical work and plumbing and welding and things like that. Not only are the boys learning the sport skills or the trade skills, for the first time ever, they often have an adult male in their life teaching them skills, teaching them guidelines, teaching them responsibility, and that's just as, if not more important, than the sports and the trade skills that they're learning from those men.
Where's the best place for single moms to look to get maybe a father's influence if the dad is not around for their children?
Certainly family comes first, and we want to make sure that dads are involved in the lives of their children. And it certainly can be very complicated when mom and dad split apart and then, have custody decisions and things like that. And, kind of the key advice for the parents in that situation is even if you have issues with each other, to not take it out on the kids. To mom, let dad be involved with the kids, even if it's a difficult thing for you, to still let him have that involvement. In addition, if dad's not present, certainly mentoring programs. Looking at Big Brothers, Big Sisters and other mentoring programs across the state of Indiana can also provide a male adult role model for your child. So certainly men and women both matter in the lives of our kids, in some ways uniquely so, and we need to make sure more dads are present in the lives of kids. And when they're not, we need to get some male adult role models in their lives through organized youth programs, sports programs, and mentoring programs as well.
And of course, you're a dad. What is the best way to say Happy Father's Day?
Oh, goodness. The best way for my kids to say Happy Father's Day is to achieve at their greatest level of possibility, for them to realize the opportunities that they have in their lives and to make the most of them. However it is that they're going to be involved, whether it's in school, whether it's through a service opportunity in the community, whether it's through a religious congregation, whatever talents and passions they have, that they make the most of those. One thing we talk about in our family is don't bury your talent. Everybody has unique giftedness and unique abilities, and not everybody has the full chance to use those, and it can be harder for some of us to use those. But if we do have those abilities, let's encourage our kids not to bury their talents, to really maximize the opportunities that they do have in their lives. We also need to remember not all kids have those opportunities in their lives. And that's, again, where we can intercede, help families that are struggling. And if a dad is not present, let's step in as volunteers in our community organizations, at our schools, and in our mentoring programs to get that positive influence in the life of more kids.
Once again, our presentation tonight is courtesy of the Indiana Youth Institute. Coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform featuring WBDC Texaco Country Showdown winner, the Has-Beens of Huntingburg. That's all up next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.